And then every year we said we're going to bust or conquer or make stamp our name in a new market. Every year we're going to invest to go to a market, put in the work every year. So one year that was here. So we came here to give us a shot. So we flew ourselves in, we accommodated ourselves, we transported ourselves, we did everything ourselves. There was no paycheck.
Paid your dues.
You know?
Yeah.
It is what it is. We put in that work.
Yeah.
That year, Caravana, we were booked 2 events in the day and 2 events that night for 3 days straight.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy DJ BuzzB, and from the time you hear the voice, you know it's only up from here. This is the Up From Here podcast, and we appreciate you for tuning in. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by a legend and icon in the business. Now, as we get things started, I have to introduce this guy from the point of me meeting him. I remember we had our first fete ever at the time. This is 2010. We had on the card Skinny Fabulous, Problem Child, and Bomani. It was a Vinci party, but we had different islands every year. I remember getting a tweet from our guest today, and the tweet simply said, who is throwing this party? And from then, we've been connected. A few months down the road from that point, I remember seeing a tweet once again from our special guest, and that tweet said, I'm going live on Hype Radio. I've never told him this. I've never really spoken on this. But when I tuned in to that Hype Radio, that is literally the first time I had ever heard anybody play soca the way I heard you play that soca. And it wasn't like the regular, you're mixing songs with each other. It was like dancehall, juggling with argument. And I was so mesmerized with that and captivated. And I always say there's 2 people that are my icons in this business. That is Back to Basics, Barrie Hype.
Hello.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a legendary, a historic episode and a monumental moment for me. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to take a lot away from this podcast. Welcoming to the Up From Here podcast, we have none other than BARRIEHYPE. When you see him, you do not say hi, you say
hello.
Welcoming to the Up From Here podcast, Barrie Hype.
My brother. Wow. What an intro. Thank you very much.
No worries, bro.
Appreciate it.
A well-deserved intro. You are everything I said. You're an icon in this. And I'm
just a team player.
And you've been on a lot of teams. Let's put it that way, right?
And sometimes I'm a starter. I have no problem coming off the bench as well.
I love to hear that. Now, your journey, becoming who you are, A&R. We know you as a DJ, announcer, stage presence. How did you get a start into all of that?
First of all, I'm from the island of Saint Lucia, 758, home of your brethren, Hollywood HV.
Yeah. Hollywood. Hit them for 6.
Exactly. Like any island, you have your circuit, which has music and your DJs, if it's a nightclub, if it's a concert, if it's just, the sound on the corner, on the block.
Right.
And I just remember going to a number of events. The music, of course, was amazing, but the presence of whoever was on the microphone, it was the couple announcements. Hey, license plate so and so, you're blocking. Hey, Jennifer, your mother's outside. If you didn't pay your money, you are an invader. Invaders outside. So. Not much else apart from maybe one speech where they're going from, hype music to slow jams and say, this is where we separate the boys from the men. And I'm like, okay, but nobody else was saying anything else along the way. So, and being as I was exposed to sound system culture, I would get the cassettes. So I would hear what these world-renowned MCs are doing. Even somebody like Rory from Sona was selector. That is still his way of having presence in the space on this thing.
Right.
And so I just kind of picked up and learned, going along. I made mistakes, just like anybody else. I still do. But I remember just one night going to the event, and I picked up the microphone and literally just being me back when I'm 18, 19, and just bam.
That is
At this point in time, there's no name of Barrie Hype.
Yeah.
They just know me as Barrie.
Right.
Because these are all my friends mostly, and then it's the crowd. Well, I's Barrie.
Yeah.
And then a very good friend of mine from Saint Lucia named Dwayne Menz, he is the one who introduced the world to Ricky T with his team of Pen and Ace, which is Studio 758, which produced Lego Me Rhythm and
big ones,
host of hits for Marshall Bungie and We Can Go On. In the year 2000, he does what's called Fat Friday. So they brought down legendary MC Giselle Lawasi One and her DJ, which was Eternal Vibes. And because they played the first Friday, which was after Carnival, so it's only right. And so one of the Fridays, my friends from Miami, which is called Soul Syndicate, which is Ricky Castro, K-Lux, and Papa Keith. And Soul Syndicate gave me the name Barrie Hype. And as they say, the rest after that
is history.
Exactly.
Is history. You brought up something extremely important when it comes to your space, right? And that's the word presence. And when we're talking presence, you are definitely one of the top when it comes to being on that stage. And it's like, I know that's Barrie. You don't even have to look on that. I know that's Barrie. And one of the key things, as you said, the selector is creating that image, an audio image, if you were. Now yours, as we all know and we said at the start of the podcast, many ways of saying hello. But you figured your way out, and that's become your thing. Talk about your signature.
I actually watched the greats. All of the greats had their thing. So Khaled has Listen. Everybody had their thing. And so I'm like, so what am I going to do to separate myself from what everybody else? Everybody else has a piece of the formula, but don't be somebody else, be you. So I said, how am I going to figure? I said, all right. The listen part made sense because I would even hear other people in the industry use the word listen, but say it differently on radio. I was like, okay, there's really something to this, but what's going to be mine? I kind of figured, well, at some point you gotta, introduce yourself. And what's the one thing that you will say? I said, hi, and I said, hello. And all of a sudden it just came. And from then that was it. Oh, pretty much by accident. But I knew I wanted to have a greeting. And that was the easiest one.
I would say the one thing you're most known for when it comes to the MC category and you being a presence on stage is argument. And that goes without a shadow of a doubt. And it literally got to the point, I kid you not, I had to stop listening to you because it got to a point like what he said or that clever thing you said made just too much sense. And I can't even hear the song now without repeating that. I said, no, I need to stop. But I say that to say I took a lot out of your book where that was concerned. And again, shifted through how do I do this in my way? So I saw not necessarily what you were saying from that point, it's how you work the room. And you literally, even if you were the first MC, I remember times in Trinidad, I'd be watching this guy. First DJ and MC is him and Ryan Sayeed. A couple times I saw them. The way he worked the dance floor, and there might have been all of 10 people on it. He had them standing on cooler and all type of stuff. So I want to say, kudos to you and developing your talent to such a level. But talk about that, the argument, and how you developed that skill.
That came from the sound system background. So the element of sound system, I brought that to what I wasn't seeing or wasn't seeing enough of there. I did get bashed for it, in the beginning because, again, I can say it. I was over talking in some environments because, again, I was just taking the formula, I hadn't refined it. Okay, this is an older crowd, or this is a more mature crowd, or this is not that high energy impact crowd.
Right.
So now with them, I may have to give them a couple more jokes to break the ice versus hit them with energy. So again, yes, I get a couple boos. If matter of fact, if you haven't gotten a boo, you ain't reached yet.
Facts.
So and it's still a learning curve.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
today, every day is a learning curve.
Yeah.
And you got to keep elevating.
Exactly.
When you think Barrie Hype, the first thing a lot of us do think is soca. But a lot of people may not know your history in dancehall and reggae. So I think that's a very good place that, in terms of music, we could start.
For those who don't know, I am an A&R for BSMG, which is Black Shadow Music Group.
Yeah.
Formerly Black Shadow. We produced a couple of rhythms which you might be familiar with. Paid in Full is one. Ching Chong Rhythm is another. Surprise Rhythm.
Jeez.
So Surprise would be J-A-M, Jamaica. And then the rhythm that literally blew the doors or blew the door handles off for Sean Paul, the Buzz Rhythm.
Nice. We're definitely going to get back into the music. One thing we need to touch on, as Teddyson John would say, the beautiful island
Of Saint Lucia.
Of Saint Lucia. Talk about where you come from.
Oh, home sweet home. Beautiful, the Helen of the West Indies. Home of Teddyson John, home of Hollywood HP, home of another catchphrase, wham to them. You know what I mean? It's beautiful. We have the pitons, we have the sulfur springs, we have the mineral baths. Big up mommy, because mommy's at home right now. St. Lucia, it's home sweet home.
Right.
Fresh air, clean water, beautiful vibes, beautiful energy. You can come to St. Lucia and do as much as you want, or you can come and do absolutely nothing and just relax.
Either way is a good time.
Or you could do something in between.
Yeah, I love it. And I was there 2022. Beautiful island. Absolutely beautiful.
I remember.
Yes, absolutely. And I was on your event.
That was your first time?
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So literally the first time I plugged in my laptop in St. Lucia was at your party, actually.
Wow.
Yes. So look at that. Look at that. As we're talking the music, right? After studying your career for so long and knowing you for so long, we've known each other, as I said, since 2010. A lot of what helped you develop your, I would say, skill set in music from studying you is not even necessarily the musical field. To my knowledge, you worked on a cruise ship early in your days, correct? And a lot of that had customer service. So explain how that and working in a different field with customer service helped you in.
So I'll back up a whole bunch of steps.
Okay.
I went to primary school in St. Lucia.
Right.
I went to secondary school in Barbados because at the time, St. Lucia only had, I'm just going to call a figure, may not be that number, only had 3,000 secondary school seats. So if you were 3001, there was not a seat for you to go to school at. I was not good at tests. I'm not good at you sitting me down at a desk and saying you have 1 hour, finish this within an hour. That wasn't me. You put me on a stage and say, I need the sound stage to be up and running within a certain time. Pretty much as long as the equipment is working, functioning the way it's supposed to be, yes, I'll get it done. I'm a hands-on type person, not much of a book person. To each is their own. And so I did not pass for a primary school in St. Lucia. Actually, I did, but my parents decided to send me to school in Barbados. Then after that, I went to junior college, which was in Saint-Agathe-des-Monts, which is 1 hour north of Montreal. And let me tell you something,
Cold.
This is when I learned the definition of the word C-O-L-E. Cool. They simply told me this: whatever temperature it is in Montreal, subtract 5.
That's 10 now.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah.
So I learned to cross country ski before water ski. Being from an island, let that set in.
Yes, that is crazy.
So then coming back from school, or just before I left to go to school in Montreal, I was working for an airline. My mother used to manage an airline by the name of Air Martinique. Martinique is the next island north of us. So it was a French company,
Right.
which pretty much serviced the French Caribbean, Saint Lucia, Barbados, and that general zone right there. It used to go to Saint Vincent. So I learned customer service there. Went to school, came back. Then I got a job working at a resort by the name of Club Saint Lucia, and which was part of the Clubs International chain,
Right.
similar to like a Sandals chain or a Hilton chain. Clubs International. So they had hotels in Antigua and a number of other places. We had the large resort, which at the time was 900 plus rooms on 50 acres of land.
Jeez.
And then we had a beach bar, which is about 5 to 7 minute drive down the road, where we had water sports for the guests if they wanted to do that. But on a Friday, at the time, the manager who was running Waves, we decided let's do this happy hour thing. And it went from being, just a casual come and have a drink to a lime to a full-fledged 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We had karaoke from 8 o'clock to midnight, to the point where I would go to the radio station to promote this Friday night party.
Wow.
And the police would ask me, please, can you ask all cars that come, do not even put 2 tires on the road. Make sure you pull fully off. Because we would be creating, traffic.
Huge traffic.
Now, that there now led me to my next step, which was Full Sail, which is in Orlando. So I have 2 degrees, one in show production and concert touring, in short live, and recording arts, in short studio. So live and studio.
Right.
Graduating from there, I got an unpaid internship on 103.5 The Beat, which is a Clear Channel station in Miami, which in New York would be Power 105, home of the Breakfast Club.
Right,
same parent company. And then after that, I worked for a label. And then after that, I then went on to a cruise ship, which is why when Uber Soca Cruise came around, I had 6 months experience working and living on a cruise ship, knowing how the ship functions,
Interesting.
knowing what the safety officer will and will not tolerate.
So when you took that job, you had no clue any Uber Soca was coming.
No,
Yeah, exactly.
Uber Soca didn't exist.
But you became a fit for that position just naturally.
So when I got a call, they said, please put in your resume. Well, I had already been working in the entertainment department at the major hotel. Then when I came to the smaller hotel, I did that. But then there was a vacancy for duty manager, which I would then fill 6 days or 6 nights a week. And whenever the night manager whenever the night manager went on vacation, they would give me to hold on for him for 2 weeks. Because as my mother would say, you ain't have no chick, no child. So
Understood. So you had to fill in the slots.
fill in the slots. It is what it is.
Got you.
But entertainment has always been something I loved. As a child, my father bought me 2 walkie-talkies for Christmas. And by about March or April, I took a screwdriver and opened it up. I wanted to know how this thing worked. I had a radio that, let's say I'm washing your car and mommy's car. I put 2 cassettes in and I Lego pause. Eventually one is faster than the other. But I could have 10 cars and put on a radio and everybody's music is at exactly the same place. I'm 8 years old, but I'm mesmerized by this.
Wow. Yeah.
So just kind of, picked up as you go along.
And it becomes natural because it's just what you're naturally interested in.
Exactly.
Love it. And similar to me, that with the DJing, that's how it kind of happened. I don't even know why, but one day it was like all of a sudden, this was the most spectacular thing in the world.
And then you moved on to promoting.
Exactly.
And then from there you came to DJing and then promoting that one event that you had,
FBI,
which was before that one, was the one that you had where the advertised artist was...
This was after.
After, right.
Yes.
Was Lil Rick and Edwin Yearwood.
Yeah.
And the unadvertised artist was Hyper Sounds, Inches.
Let's see if you remember.
I don't remember the third artist.
Big Red.
Big Red the DJ.
Yes. Big Red the DJ.
That was an awesome party.
Bro.
And then the next one, where it was supposed to be skinny, and we grabbed Problem Child,
Yes.
and from Antigua.
Tian Winters.
Yes, boy.
And you were along for the whole ride at that beginning of the journey?
That was fun.
But yeah, I'm telling you. So this is a perfect segue into the next topic. Perfect. And that is working with artists, right? I had a bit of a different experience being a promoter. You've worked with artists on a whole nother level. I want you to speak about who you've worked with. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these are not no small names we're about to mention, and even who he's currently working with. But talk about the mega artists you've worked with.
Well, I'm currently Rupee's tour DJ.
Exactly, which big deal.
Yeah, big deal. It's mind blowing to go somewhere where English is the second or third language. That when they come up afterwards to speak to Rupee or express how they feel is more what I want to say.
Yeah.
And we need a linguist to translate, but their emotion says everything. But 5 minutes ago, you were singing Tempted to Touch word for word. That always
It must be mind blowing to see that.
he's like, before and English is not their first language, which means music crosses all barriers.
Music crosses all barriers, and it's a language on its own.
Facts.
It is a language on its own. There's no reason I'm here singing the amount of Afro beats and those type of things that I do sing, or at least try to sing, because I don't know none of them words. We're talking artists. Who else? We got Rupee as the current, which, guys, this is huge. There are 3, I would say Soca or 4, but 3 that have really broken through on the international circuit, no? And that would be Rupee 1.
Let me see on Mega Circuit.
Yeah,
that have broken through
the 3 biggest songs that I always hear that have crossed all boundaries is Rupee's Tempted to Touch.
Kevin Little, Turn Me On.
Correct.
What's your third?
The third I know would be Allison Hines, Roll It.
That'll be
And
a
that's
big,
the 3 I always hear that are like the breakthrough.
the other one, which I would say, I don't want to say is bigger. It's an older record, but Hot.
Yeah. Oh yes. Arrow.
Yeah,
Arrow.
that's
Gone.
Still,
Gone. Yeah.
still. So
Follow the leader.
you know,
that type of,
there's international smashes.
yes.
Because Atlantic Records didn't sign Soca. Atlantic Records said, this record has potential, as any label. A label's in this to make money. You know, they really and truthfully do not care where you come from.
Yeah.
Oh, you come from here? Okay, we can package the story to say he came from here and such and so on. But they don't care where you come from. They don't really care much about the genre, because once a genre crosses more than one, it now becomes pop. If most people don't know this, if your genre is here and your specific song that is sang crosses genres, it now becomes pop because it's now popular. So Tempted and Turn Me On both went fully through the Atlantic Records system.
Yes.
And that's why those 2 are still arguably the 2 biggest songs from our diaspora internationally.
That is incredible. And for you to be working so in depth with the team till today, he's Rupee, as you mentioned, you're working with him. He's booked here in Toronto, where the studio is, on a show.
Yeah.
When did Tempted to Touch come out? So I get what all these artists are trying to,
A couple of years ago.
Yeah, a couple
years ago.
Couple decades. But what I want to say, I remember you mentioned you were about to bring Rupee to the podcast. Now, that was very close.
Yeah.
So we're going to catch him just now. We're going to get him out here just now.
One of these days, we'll get him here.
Yeah, one of these days.
Or we may have to go to him.
Yes, that is not a problem. I will figure that out. So who else? You got Rupee. Who else have you worked with?
Done a couple shows with Kevin Little. Kevin Little actually introduced me to Rupee.
You can't write this story.
Most people won't. The first time I was introduced to Rupee, Kevin Little actually introduced. Actually, no, I like DJ Fuzz, which is Kevin Little's, Rupee's former DJ. He actually was the first time I met Rupee. Fuzz actually introduced me to him. Fuzz is one hell of a DJ. Turntable assassin.
Nice.
So big up to Fuzz.
Yeah.
Who else? I was Ricky T's first DJ.
Wow.
When he got started.
Yeah.
Also worked very closely with Skinny Fabulous through Scratchmaster. For those who don't know who Scratchmaster is, he's one of the most sought after mix and mastering engineers in our diaspora. Him and Andrew Denny.
Yes.
So shout out to both of them. Worked with a number of other artists. Worked with Rudy and worked with Kamau Georges through a gentleman by the name of Rashidi, aka Rash on the Radio from the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
Kamau Georges is one hell of a saxophonist, and also worked with a DJ from Boston, Clinton Sparks, who's heavy in the pop world. He also did the Sorry record for Akon after the Trinidad
Yes.
incident.
Interesting.
So yeah, there's
So-
it's lots of dots in different places of people that you work with and to know the circle.
Yes.
It literally comes back. Worked with Problem Child as well.
Nice.
Still this day, these are all friends of mine.
Yeah.
Also had a little bit of a hand with Tizzy. Funny enough, that year for Miami Carnival, which is 2007, the 4 biggest songs were Party Animal, Pressure Boom, Expose, and Jamming on the Road, Marshall.
Expose was bad. Yeah. That was 2007. Very big.
2007.
So you were getting involved with a lot of these artists in the prime of their career, like their hit years. That's amazing. And for them to even trust you in that space says a lot, So as you said earlier, you get into one thing and then you slowly realize you can get into multiple spaces, but you don't come out the womb knowing everything.
Exactly.
So it takes time. And this is the purpose of this podcast. Not everybody could have a conversation with Barrie Hype. So
well, you can't just,
you can't, but you get what I'm saying. Especially
so as long as you're buying around,
yeah.
I love my belly. So if I'm at a food spot and you buy me food and I'm in a hurry, you can ask me. We can sit down somewhere.
There you go. Hopefully he gives everybody 2 hours.
I know about 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. But we're giving all of you 2 hours here. So when we're talking about, your rise and working with all these artists, as I said, we're going to get into the DJs. And you've worked with a lot of predominant DJs in the industry. The 2 most popular, I guess, combinations that I've seen would be you with Private Ryan and you with Public Ryan, Ryan Sayeed. So let's talk about it. Your working relationship with Private Ryan and Ryan Sayeed. Separately, you could give your own.
Let me start with Ryan Sayeed.
Got it.
Ryan Sayeed was introduced to me by DJ Crown Prince. DJ Crown Prince at the time had relocated from Orlando to South Florida. He had made a name for himself with his mixtapes,
right?
And he had done a couple select gigs in South Florida, but then he decided to make the full move down, and then he had the opportunity to go to Dubai, the UAE. So I believe it's a family member that was working over there said, yo, come on over, you could stay by me, bro, trust me, you're gonna do well here. Yada yada yada. Prince goes over, does his thing. I think he was supposed to stay for like maybe a month and a half, 6 weeks. He ended up staying over there, I think, like for 3 months. Comes back. Anyway, while he's getting himself fully together, he said, the one thing that I really want to do is help that next generation to come up. He looked at one DJ who he thought had it, but clearly we realized quite quickly he didn't really have it. Meaning that he wasn't ready yet.
Got it.
Simple terms.
Yeah.
Then he discovers Ryan Sayeed. And so to fast forward now to when Prince did, there used to be a party on Thursdays called Soca Thursdays at Ginger Bay. I was supposed to be there that night. So it was supposed to be Ryan Sayeed, Crown Prince, and myself. However, Rupee had a show and I had to fly out on the Thursday. So Prince is outside welcoming everybody, shaking hands, knocking a glass. But after a while, people are like, the music is really good. And Prince actually said, literally, this happened within almost like a 45-minute window of like everybody realized, hold on. If you are out here, who the hell is inside playing the music?
Yeah.
Because everybody for the most part was outside, except for at this point, Prince walks inside and he picks up the mic and says, hold on. This is not my role. Normally Barrie Hype is the one doing this. He unfortunately had a gig with Rupee, so he had to leave. He said, first of all, everybody, thank you for coming out and, you know, supporting me. But I'm just letting you guys know I am leaving you South Florida in the very capable hands of this DJ right here, who all of you guys have been enjoying his set outside. His name is Ryan Sayeed. And then ever since then, I'll make sure that the first time we went to Cayman, first or second time, just made sure he was solid, you know, made sure that, you know, he got there, that no DJ from there was trying to outshine him, and I'm not picking specifically on one country. I mean that there were a number of places some guys were trying to, some DJ from Miami, we go outshine. I'm like, no. You know, or some slots they were trying to put him to play first. I'm like, yo, why is he playing first? Not to say he can't. So there were a few times where I had to kind of big brother and muscle the thing. I said, no. I'm going on next. They're like, okay, cool. Ryan, open your laptop. No, he can't play now. I said, what do you mean he can't play now? That is my DJ. Open your laptop. But Ryan has earned his stripes.
Yeah.
He makes more money than me these days. Trust me. You know, he just did that amazing event with Kes.
Oh, yeah, true.
Soca Superheroes. That was all his concept. He also has a party which he has called Solo.
Yeah.
Where the party is
just himself.
6 hours long.
Amazing.
And he DJs the entire party himself.
Yeah.
He also done another brand called Summer Fling. He has a few things going on, man.
Yeah. Big up to Ryan Sayeed.
Yeah, big up to Ryan Sayeed.
Always been a clean DJ ever since I first heard him.
Yes.
Always, every time. So big up Ryan Sayeed.
Private Ryan, the first time I worked with Private Ryan was actually at my birthday. I can tell you the year and I can tell you the party specifically.
Wow.
So the year is 2010. How do I know that? Because what was the biggest song in the world during 2010? Palance and Remy.
Yeah, Palance. Yeah.
So Palance was that record. My birthday, I'm a Mayborn Taurus. Just passed.
Yeah, couple weeks ago.
Exactly.
So happy belated.
Thank you, sir. There was a party in Miami that used to keep the same time, which was called Big Fat Fish. Private Ryan was a resident.
Yeah.
That same second Saturday would be a party which was called Naked / Soca 360.
Got it.
In the reggae room, the resident sound was Black Chiney, as in all of them would show up. And in the Soca room, which was Soca 360, the resident DJs were Dorenzo and Crown Prince. But there was no MC. It was whoever was there would do their thing. So my birthday, I did Soca Thursdays. Friday, I went to Madhouse, which was the club that we used to push when you heard me on the radio. That was the club that we would be promoting every Friday called Madhouse. And then Saturday, the second Saturday, was Naked / Soca 360. Turned out that specific Saturday, for whatever reason, the team that did Big Fat Fish didn't keep it that night. So Ryan was now available.
Interesting.
So the promoter booked it. So it was 3 DJs. It was Dorenzo, who played from 11 till almost 2.
Yeah.
Crown Prince came on, played 2 to 3. And then Private Ryan was on from 3 to 4. And I worked from Crown Prince's set all the way till the end. And that was the first time I ever worked with. Ryan said he had heard me before, a few things, doing my thing. But that was the first actual time when we worked together.
Yeah.
And then, as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah. Once again. And we have seen you guys rip up many a stages. And it's been a pleasure to watch you guys mesh very well.
The one thing about Ryan is his musical IQ is very high. Not just in one specific genre, across the board.
Right.
And he is very good at knowing the strengths and weaknesses of each MC.
Yeah.
So he will play to your strength, which makes the most sense.
Yes.
So when somebody says, yo, the best MC with Ryan is this guy or that guy or this guy, I will take a page from Kid Cut, which is we all do our lane the best. And so Ryan, knowing the type of event that he is going to or he is booked for, will then choose from a few of us of which he think will complement the event the most.
Amazing. I didn't even think that deep into it.
Yeah. No.
No, it's a whole science behind this whole thing.
Because, as you say, argument is me.
Yeah.
Charisma is Tony. High energy, Kevin Crown. Wild Out Madness,
There you go.
or Patrick the Hype
Or
Man.
Patrick, yeah.
So everybody has their own lane, which they're very good at.
Yes.
And based upon the event, he knows who it is that is best suited for that.
I don't know how far back you can trail in terms of all your memories with them in sets, but give me your best memory of your best set with each of them.
And there's a few.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Funny enough, Ryan and I do remember this one party. It was Notting Hill Carnival Friday, and we flattened it, but this again is trust. So when he came in, the gutter rhythm, which was big at the time, had just played. And I called for it, and he said it just played, and I asked him for the Talpre first. No, I asked him for the patch first.
Yeah, pipe.
And he trusted me enough that I saw something in the party where this would damage right here. And there have been times where I called for a song and it didn't do exactly what I thought, but he already had the exit plan just in case. So again, it's, trusting your teammate. Yeah. There was the one time at Soca Brainwash where it was myself and Kevin Crown working, which was Soca Brainwash 2020, just before the pandemic.
Right.
And I wasn't scheduled to work the main stage. I was scheduled to work the small stage, Soca Baby. Oh, me and Ryan, we had a time there. And then Kevin invited me to work the set with him.
Nice.
That was a very memorable moment.
That's beautiful.
But it's difficult to pin down one, because there have been times where, when I talk about flatten the people dance, Ryan's very good at that.
Oh, yeah.
So salute to Ryan.
Yeah.
Both all ya.
Yeah. Big up the Ryans. We're talking Soca carnivals now. We got it. And actually, before we reach carnivals, you told me, and this is where the podcast is reaching people. You told me you were speaking with Private Ryan just based off of the podcast and talking about a clip you guys had saw. You called me that day, funny enough, and said, boy, all you're brave.
Oh, you're brave, boy. Because I know it's clickbait, so I get it.
Exactly.
But at the same point in time, it's, as the famous expression goes, it's not what you say, but how you say it.
Right.
Kudos, my brother.
Yes, kudos to him. And he literally says in the podcast, I'm willing to be public enemy number one. But the conversation it brought up is more important than the kerfuffle, if you will. More important than the lashback on socials. But you were speaking, you called me that morning, you said, boy, I was now talking to Private Ryan on the phone.
Yeah.
He said, boy, I wish BuzzB would call me for his podcast. And I want him to ask me all the hard questions.
Yeah, he does.
So, Private Ryan.
Ryan is somebody who is always, he will say this. I will say this.
Yeah.
I don't speak for him.
Yeah.
But he will tell you this. I have no problem with anybody asking me hard questions. Rupee asks, y'all don't, stop fluffing these questions. Ask the hard questions. We can't move forward unless you ask some of these hard questions.
Love it. So, hard question then. We talked about the DJs you do like to work with. I don't need to ask you to say names, but share some experiences of bad moments and hard moments to work with DJs that you've had in your past.
Specifically, I noticed this happens now more in other islands. But I found this in the beginning of my career. I was used to, if you book Renaissance sends Jazzy T and Delano, or Dr. Dre and whoever it is. If you book Stone Love, they send Rory, they send this person. All of a sudden, it's this MC and this DJ. I'm like, but they're not in the same sound. They're not.
Right.
So being paired with somebody, we're professionals, we could work together, but that doesn't mean that everybody works well together.
Interesting.
Because if you have a DJ who's capable of going here, but the MC is not, the DJ may have to stay here. If not, you as the MC will be lost. Worse, if you go up and the DJ can't keep up, then let's say the DJ's playing slow.
You
or can't match the energy.
You're just loud at that point.
Then Houston, you have a problem.
Yeah. That's a fact. No, but these are all gems, and we're going to dive in. I want to dive into each of your hats eventually, and let's go through a kind of business lesson on each. Before we get there, we're sharing stories about your popular combinations when it comes to MCing and DJing, who you've MC'd alongside. I haven't worked with you much. We may have worked on a stage together all of 3 times. To my memory,
one of them was Dubai.
This is where I was going. 2 of those were my fets. The other one on a yacht in Dubai.
Breakfast cruise.
For a Soca cruise. That's... Who else could say that story?
Dubai was vibes.
Dubai was real vibes.
Was that your first time?
First time.
Nice.
And all I know is that moment still till this day is one of my favorite sets. And the way we held that boat down, and afterwards we just high five like, yo, we killed that. Yeah, small thing, but we killed that.
But I just carry BuzzB's bag.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. That's a moment I will cherish. You can't say that about many people. I've worked alongside this guy in Dubai on a yacht.
So what I did was, in layman's terms, I said, let me see the speed that you juggle at. So once I understood, okay, this is the pace he's at, we were not the prime.
Yeah.
We were like second, somewhere around there. So we're still building the boat nicely. Right. So I said, okay, let me see. Okay, this is where Buzz is juggling. I see the song. So I knew where I could take a second forward or second joke or second speech in that song before you mixed, based upon how it was you were juggling.
Look at that.
And then there was a couple, hey, hold on. Don't say nothing. I said, okay, he has a fancy mix coming up. Where like he did the pump me up. He said, oh gosh. And then you mixed that into a Marshall record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh gosh.
There you go.
Yeah.
See? Again, man. So there we say, we say it again, man. Say it again, Mama BuzzB. BuzzB, say oh gosh.
You remember? Wow, look at that. How long ago was that?
Nah, because I teased the mix. I teased the mix and I teased it once, and I went back to and a man said, yo, that bad. I said, nah, full credit. That's not my mixer. I was at a party where they had this was in Miami. Private Ryan was up next, and this was Ryan's mix, and there was that song. It was Marshall. He had don't mind your business. Don't mind. Them and then Ryan mixed. They must have study people business study. So I did this mix in the party. Everybody stopped and said, God, you know, like, yo, that bad. I pick it back. I say, full disclosure, that is that man mixer. All the DJs just were rolling laughing. Because Ryan knows that I know it's his it's his mix.
I said it in the middle of the podcast too.
Hell yeah.
That show's hilarious.
Hell yeah. I know the party I did it at too. And I got one ras forward. And I went right back, but I went from that to another crossfire. Like, ooh, I was like, BuzzB, make up yourself.
That's hilarious. Oh, that one brought tears to my eyes, boy.
So
amazing. We're talking about going around the world, man. Did you ever see that for yourself? Touring the world and doing this?
No. This was actually, so again, big up Crown Prince. What we did was we realized that we were doing our thing in South Florida, it got to the point where a number of DJs, not all, but a number of DJs were intimidated to play after Private Ryan and to play after Crown Prince. We said, yes, you know, dance a yard before you dance
abroad, yeah.
So, you know, do your thing in your town. And then every year we said we're going to bus or conquer or make stamp our name in a new market. Every year we're going to invest to go to a market, put in the work every year. So 1 year that was here. So we came here, we did DOC's radio show. Before that, we were blessed with the opportunity, again, Private Ryan couldn't make Sunset. So Ryan suggested to Bandit, shout out to Bandit, to give us a shot on his event.
Wow.
So we flew ourselves in, we accommodated ourselves, we transported ourselves, we did everything ourselves. There was no paycheck.
Paid your dues.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, this was BBM Messenger days. You know, whose pin do you have? Yeah. And so it is what it is. We put in that work.
Yeah.
That year, Caravana, we were booked 2 events in the day and 2 events that night for 3 days straight.